Hi, I'm Honey, and welcome to a Honey vlog. This is really late. In fact, it's about a month late from PAX East. So I know that a lot of the PAX vlogs have all been out, and some of them were being released during PAX. And I came back from PAX, and I was right in the middle of the Surviving Minecraft Island, and there was just a ton of content coming out, and I just I just didn't have I didn't want this one to just sort of be uh skipped, but I didn't want it to just be shoved in there either. So I knew it was going to be late, but I really wanted it to have its own time, I guess. And I actually just bought my tickets for PAX South for Midlet and for myself, and that'll be her first convention. And I tell you, it was really incredible. It was really a neat experience. This was my first PAX that I got to go to, and it was awesome in so many ways. Starting at the beginning, I could not possibly tell you everything that happened because there was so much. I'm going to try to keep it to some of the highlights. And a lot of the highlights are going to be food. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Because a lot of times that is where you're meeting people, you know? And to me, the conventions are about connecting up and meeting people and getting to put a face and a physical presence to the person that you know, even if you know their face, to get to, hi Athena, to get to physically stand next to them, shake their hand, give them a hug, exchange cards. It's just that tangible link that is often missing in this intangible job, right? So, yes, headbutt my mic, sure. So, anyway, I had the pleasure and the privilege of staying with Obi Raptor and Lady M. And, I told you she was fussing over there. And so we get to stay I got to stay in a hotel with her and share a room. And that was incredible. It really was. When we first, when I was packing, I didn't know if there would be any, like a free breakfast or anything. And so I kind of poked her and she's like, oh, actually there's not. And I kid you not, I literally packed 10, you are a smelly cat. I literally packed 10 granola bars. Like 5 fruit nuts and 5 peanut. And I'm like, if I have to pay for 3 meals a day for 5 days, I'm gonna go broke or starve. So I thought, if nothing else, worst case scenario, I had 2 granola bars to live on a day, and I could buy 1 meal, right? So that was my plan. And then I landed, and a lady told me that we got upgraded. And part of this upgrade was access to this lounge. Yes. And there was free breakfast, and there was free breakfast, and there were free hors d'oeuvres and desserts and coffee and just general snackage. And they were mostly open, so they were open most of the time. They were closed some of the days, but anyway. So we had several free nom meals there, and that was fantastic. And simple things like soup and salad, or really nice breakfast spreads, or clam chowder and mini lobster roll. I'm not going to complain. So we were in Boston, of course, and that was one of the things that I had determined I wanted to try or be sure I had while I was there was, of course, clam chowder and lobster. And now there's cat fur flying all over from you. You were not supposed to be part of this vlog. Athena thinks otherwise. You were aptly named, my little goddess. Anyway, and so I was sure that while I was there, I got to try all that. And I ended up having clam chowder like 3 different times, and it was lovely. And lobster rolls twice, because I ordered a lobster roll out at one of the restaurants, and and then we had those little mini ones. So we got upgraded, and that also bumped us up to the 21st floor. And the 21st floor was the top floor, and it did have a beautiful view. But I did not know that there was such a thing as elevator status until until I stayed at this hotel. And inevitably, every time we were in the elevator and we hit our floor, the top floor, there were looks, or somebody would actually comment, "Oh, well, I thought we were doing good at the 17th," or "I didn't want you up here anyway, cat." She's off. Or anyway, that they would make a comment, or something would happen, and it was just really interesting because people were just kind of like, they were just looking, and you just kind of had this feeling like there was oh wow, there in the 31st or 21st floor or whatever it was. So there was sort of an interesting kind of thing with that. We also got to meet up with so many of the Godiva gaming ladies. There were 8 or 9 of us total there. I believe there were 9 of us total there. Well, there were 8, but then Aniki traveled in. And so that was the 9th at one point. And it was just really an incredible experience to be able to meet so many people that you knew, but hadn't really got to just hug and stuff. And not just with the Godiva ladies, but really just all the people. I got to connect up with the Game Whiz guys and got to just be there. And I stopped in their booth. Actually, I think I stopped in their booth each day, just to say hi. Got my t-shirt the first day, which is so soft and so great. So it was just a neat thing to walk around and kind of see. And PAX is interesting because it is an all-around gaming convention. So they had lots of cool tabletop stuff. I told the kids all about these awesome gaming tables that, one day if I ever have a spare, whatever, would love to buy that. And I know that Dawn and Twilight in particular love the D&D and some of the different card games and stuff that they play all the time, role play stuff. So it was just really neat to see some of those different aspects, and at the same time see all the different parts of the gaming community. And I got to buy some souvenirs, and I got to have some amazing connections and have some amazing food. One of the things that we got to do was the autograph signing at the Minecraft booth. I have to tell this story. There was high security. We had to go through, and there were dogs that were sniffing, and everybody had to have their bag checked, and you had to walk through, the metal detectors, and it was just this it took a while. It was a bit of a production to get onto the floor to begin with. And when we got there Friday for the first day, and everything was close enough to the hotel that you could just walk. When we got there Friday, cat for a cat, there was a pretty decent line, but by the time we got through the line, the doors were open and we could just kind of walk right through. Well, Saturday was the day of our signing at the Minecraft booth. Thank you so much, Good and the Minecrackers, for opening up your booth to us. And we had this 2-hour slot. And it was at 11 o'clock. Well, we got there extra early, and then as we walked in, it wasn't open yet. And so we realized that they were queuing up all the people. And there were these 3 huge queues of people lined up and then waiting. And we kind of asked somebody, and I kind of poked one of the enforcers, where they're like, "Yep, over here, over here." I'm like, is this line going to be done in an hour? And she actually laughed. She's like, "No." I mean, it'll move pretty quick, but probably not. It's like, well, that's a problem because we need to be at an autograph signing. And she thought we wanted to be at somebody else's signing, of course. And we're like, no. So, and basically the response was, well, yeah, everybody's wants to be at an autograph signing. I'm like, no. we are actually the ones going to be signing the autographs. And it was interesting because it was sort of this surreal concept of, yeah, we have this slot, this time slot. And she kind of, cocked her head at me. And she's like, really? And what booth are you at? I said, the Minecraft booth. And I'm like, I didn't think twice about it because I knew we had a signing to be at. And I knew I was telling the truth. And I'm like, I've got business cards that say my name. And I've got a Twitter that shows a poster with times for the date. And from, from the official Minecraft LP and Twitter chat and all that shit. And I'm like, I can prove it. And she's like, no, go ahead. So we kind of went through this process like 3 or 4 times. And we were finally let in. And each time there was sort of this no, you can't. And I basically just talked our way in and we got through. Well, we get all the way to the Minecraft booth. And so now we're actually on the floor before it officially opens. So we went from, being there and being afraid that we were going to get there late or just, not at least not early, but, barely make it, to suddenly we're there hella early. Like an hour early. Or I guess an hour and 15 minutes early. And we got there and everybody's kind of setting up and we got to talk to them a little bit. And the Sage of Games, he's a Streamian. He's also an enforcer for PAX. And he was there and he was waiting. And he said, because I met him the day before, and he said, I just want to be here in case you have any problems, or I want to help you out. And it was the neatest thing because he kind of put his arm around me. He's like, what's the good of having a Streamian fan who's an enforcer if you don't get to use them or if they don't get to help you? And it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And it turns out I started texting our group of all the people, all the Godiva ladies that were there, and it turns out Blue Bayou was held up by an enforcer and not allowed in. And it's like, she's damsel in distress. So we went and we rescued her because he had that enforcer tag. We basically said, yeah, she's legit. Come on through. And we got to go and get Win and several of the different people that we were able to get and help bring them in. And once they got through security, they were able to avoid the line. And so that was just so cool. There was just sort of this sense as we walked past all these people that were waiting and we just sort of breezed on through. And we talked about that later. And it's like, we got all the way to the end. I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope they don't turn us away because it'd be so terrible to have to like you walk through, like, yep, I belong here, and you walk on through, and then you get all the way to the end, and you have to walk back with your tail tucked in behind your leg, and you're like, yeah, where's that cue, but thankfully they didn't turn us away. We were able to get through, but then I guess they said no. They said no after that, and I told them, I said, there's going to be 6 other women. They're all going to be coming through here, telling you the same thing. But anyway, so we got to do the autograph signing, which was neat, and it was a lot of fun. And throughout the day, throughout all 3 days, I got to see some people repeatedly, like OMG Chad. The first time he's like heard me or saw or whatever, and he comes bursting out from behind the curtain at the Minecraft booth, Honney, and hadn't got to see him in the flesh since Minecon 2013, because that was the only other convention that I've ever gone to. Had a lot of encouragement from a lot of people to, really take the effort and the time and yes, spend the money to go to some of the conventions, and it was just a great experience all the way around. PAX was well run. There was a lot of interesting things to do. We got to do a Don't Starve Together tournament that we got to do with Lady and her daughter-in-law, Jenny, and myself, and then a random person who has now become a Streamian, the Seas, who was kind of picked up on the sidelines. So, like, we don't have our fourth that we signed up with before isn't available, so we're down to 3, and they said, has anybody got a single? And she raised her hand, and it was the first thing I said was team boobs, because we had another girl, right? It was like, yes, we had our female team, and it was just a lot of fun. She was fantastic, and she sat next to us, and we kind of talked about some possible strategies, and we just went for it. So it was really, really so much fun. We made it to the semifinals, and each time that it like went from 32 to 16 to 8, you know, the different teams, and each time we were just like, yeah! And even when they called it down to the semifinals, and there were 4 teams narrowed down, and we were the 4th team. We were 4th place by a lot, right? But we screamed and cheered louder. Like first, second, and third were like, yeah, excellent, good job. And then they come to the 4th place and we're like, did we make it? Did we make it? And they called Honney Empire, and we just screamed. All 4 of us screamed and threw our arms in the air, and they just laughed at us like, oh my goodness, 4th place, yeah, we're in this. So it was just great. And yes, that was our team name, Honney Empire, because of course Lady M, Lady Empire, and for her server stuff and things that she does. And she thought, hey, what if we named it Honney Empire? And it's kind of the 2 of us put together, which is a ton of fun. There was a ginormous, what was it, a T-Rex for the Ark? And the first day we were there, I kind of wish I waited. I kind of bailed on it. And, but Lady waited in line for an hour, and she climbed up, and, I got some great pictures of her on the top of that T-Rex, hooping and hollering and waving to the crowd. And it was just the coolest. Alt Blue drove up to Boston for like an hour and a half up to Boston to meet me Saturday. And Senyo Tai was coming to PAX on Sunday. And so he traveled on the subway for over an hour, like an hour and a half, to meet us. And we got to have dinner at Cheers, and Alt ended up buying us dinner, and we had a great conversation, and it was silly, and it was fun, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, you know? To just, again, to put a face and a physical contact presence to the name is so priceless, and we had a great time. You know, and I told some stories in the stream about some of the different things, and it was just interesting because, you know, at one point I found myself repeating this several times as I met different people, and they just kind of like would laugh at me or something, and it's like, did you think I would be anything different, you know, in real life? Did you think I would be? And it was kind of like we had lunch Saturday with Joe Hills, and the beautiful Lapis Lori, and it was just like, I didn't realize that Joe Hill's accent was a character, you know. We had a perfectly lovely conversation at lunch. He's a very intelligent man, and it was very interesting, and I was really surprised. I didn't realize that was a character. I just assumed that was his accent, right? And so I you know, some people were like, he actually like, well, thank you for believing that ridiculous Hickville accent is real. I'm like, I just take people at face value, right? I didn't realize. And so there are so many times that we get to hang out with people, and, you know, some people came and went very quickly, and some people were just happy to hang out and stay for a while. And it was just so great. I got to do several things with Anasia and Winter. Obviously, I got to stay with Lady M, so we got to do a lot of things together, and it was just an experience. And I know before we left, because it was the first time that our foursome, Lady, Win, and Anasia and I, for Borderland Babes or Left 4 Dead 2 ladies, got to actually all be together in the same spot. And before we left, we kind of talked about a fancy Friday, or maybe we should dress up one day or something. And so I had packed a purple dress, and Sunday we ended up going to Sportello's for dinner, which was fancy pants and expensive, and this award-winning chef and all these stuff and things made by hand, and it was really great. And it was really good, and it was just a really interesting experience. And it was one of those things, one of those meals where every aspect of it was beautifully plated and it smelled amazing before you ever took a bite, and everything was perfect. And I ended up, like, I asked if we were going to dress up, and I took a picture of me in my dress, and they're like, "Oh, you have to wear it." And so I kind of went there, and I was all fancy pants and dressed up, and it was kind of weird and kind of nice and kind of strange all at the same time, you know. Um, my $5 thrift store dress that I usually just wear around the house, because yeah, I don't really go any place to wear a dress, right? So anyway, so I kind of got to be a little bit dressed up for that, and then we went to the Westin Hotel lobby, and there was a whole bunch of people gathered there at the end of the night, and just kind of got to visit, got to have a drink with MK the Worst, and got to see Aurelian again, and we just kind of got to say hi to lots of people. I got introduced to a bunch of people, and it was nice to be able to honestly say that I'm a full-time streamer. And it was, you could, and people would introduce themselves, or they would ask, are you a YouTuber, are you a streamer? And I heard somebody say, yeah, I'm full-time. And I realized that, I know this is my job, and I've been doing it for so long, and at the same time, there are so many people out there that can't do this as a living and can't do this full time. And, you see, like, Markiplier so unbelievably big, and you couldn't get near him with a 10-foot pole. Chad had a hard time getting near him, and he had a scheduled interview. And then you see some of the other guys with long, long lines for autograph signings and stuff, like some of the Minecraft guys, and then you see, me and my little signing, and you realize, it doesn't matter that you're a little bitty streamer, or, Mr. Flaming Goat, a big guy. It doesn't matter. At PAX, we were all gamers. We were all colleagues. We're all friends. And I think that's what I took away most from it, is everybody, whether you're full-time, or it's a hobby, or you just like to play games and have an appreciation for any part of that, everybody there was just kind of on that same level with another. We were all just gamers, geeks, and friends. And it was just so great. I got to meet people that recognized me that I didn't know, but they were just, streamians, or just, somehow knew who I was, but are lurkers, or some people who said, "Hey, you were the first LP that I ever saw." And it was just an incredible experience. It was me solo. The girls all stayed and took turns to take care of their sister Midlet. Like I said, I bought a ticket for Midlet and myself for PAX South. Sky just turned 18. All the kids have their own lives, and they're doing their own things. And I figure from here on out, unless something comes up last minute and there's just like a chance, hey, I've got TwitchCon tickets, I give to you, and that's all I have. Maybe I'll try to arrange something for just me. But I figure from here on out, we'll have to, Midlet's going to go along for the ride too. And get to meet all the people. So that's going to be a new experience. I kind of think it's not fair to ask the kids anymore to help watch our sister. And I know they would. And I know they don't mind. And I know they might again. But I just think I need to try to do that with her too. So I will at least go to one convention a year. I'm hoping that we can make it to 2. And just get to do more things with meeting people and staying in that, amongst that group of peers, and getting those real life contacts and getting to exchange cards, and working together with somebody that you maybe met and just really got along with for the first time in something like a convention. So anyway, I'm gonna stop there because again, I could have like a 3-part PAX day and go over the details of each thing, but I won't. I will say I was able to walk away with a bunch of. I got everybody a bit of souvenirs. I got all the kids a souvenir. I got myself some things, and I didn't even really let myself feel guilty over it. I don't feel like I spent a crap ton of money. I spent more than I kind of planned on spending, but that's travel, right? But I wouldn't take any of it back, and I'm kind of happy. Now we were home, and it's like, yeah, I've got my souvenir, and yeah, I'm really glad that I bought that T-shirt or that companion cube necklace or whatever it is. So there you go. That's my PAX East vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, guys. Bye.